Water bottle. Doesn't matter what water bottle, these things are bomb proof. You can get them dirt cheap, £5 and below in some surplus stores. And if they don't have a lid, just buy it anyway. You can get them on eBay for £3. You know, it's worth paying the money for it. You just get such a good water bottle with it. And a water bottle is very essential when you're out. Don't matter how long you're going out, just carry some water with you, even if it's just in case. First aid kits. It don't matter what sort of training you've got, you should carry a basic first aid kit, and then you can learn, just get the stuff out of it. That's one thing I never see people doing. Get everything out of that first aid kit. See what you know how to use. If you don't know how to use it, search on YouTube, find a video on that, learn. It's not hard to learn how to use a basic first aid kit. A simple one like this to a more comprehensive one, which is a roll top dry bag, so your kit's not going to get wet. I love that. I've used these for years in the past and still do use them. Fantastic bits of kit. Very important, first aid. Get yourself a bandana, cheap bandana. It's got so many uses, you'll be amazed. Not all these emergency uses, everyday uses. Wiping sweat off your face, cleaning pots, it's all there that you can use. Emergency bog roll. If you've got it, why not use it? If you haven't got anything, which you should have, but if you haven't, you've got it. Very, very important bit of kit. It's so underrated. If you're going to be spending longer than a few hours and you're going to be eating, carry a toilet kit. Toilet roll, hand sanitizer, some sort of shovel and a lighter to burn the toilet roll. Do not bury your bog roll, it is disgusting. It will not break down for a long time. Burn it, shove the ashes on top and then cover it up. Dig no further than the top 6 inches of soil, and make sure you put it all back and mark the spot very clearly with prominent dug in X's. 2 sticks. It's very, very simple. I have seen some very disgusting sights in the woods and it is foul. Don't do it. Moving on. Cookers. Everyone loves to go out, even just boiling hot water. People go out, I've seen them boil water and not even use it just because they want to use their cookers. It's fun, you know, it keeps your spirits high. Cheap cookers. This is a gel cooker, this is reusable, it is really cheap. Why not? Even as a spare, I've used these things for years and this one's just kept going. I did buy 3 at the time. I broke one of these windshield stand things, but you can fashion your own. Even using 3-inch nails, 4-inch nails, 6-inch nails, whatever you want to use. Dug in around, pot on top, fantastic. So a pot to go on it. You can buy cheap pots, the coffee, tea and sugar pots you find in hardware stores. Create a little hanging loop, get a lid, fix a knob on the lid to open it, and you've got yourself a pot. Brake cable with electrician's chop blocks and you've got yourself a hanging loop. Can't beat it. At the moment I've got my Crusader cup on its cooker, lid on top, burning gel. The lid simply made by 2 foil takeaway trays with a bit of insulation, like the bubble bubble tex, or whatever you want to call it. Just brings the boil a bit quicker. You see there's no tab on that to pull it up, literally just bend the sides and it will come straight off, and you can keep bending it. We've used it for ages. Cheap, you know, you don't have to keep spending loads of money, and this is the big thing. People think you have to spend money to do bushcraft, to go camping. You don't. Get yourself a notepad and pen, or pencil. Pencil's probably going to be a lot better. Pencils in the back and a pen. Always carry it. Fantastic bit of kit. If you're out learning, you should be writing it down. Why not keep reference? Everyone reads all these books. Why not start writing your own learning book? And I found this does really work with students when I'm teaching. Let's move on to knives, everyone's great subject. Massive debate, big, small, fat, thin, blah 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 blah. I'm not going to get in this conversation. For the UK, a large knife will get you in trouble. Doesn't matter what you're doing, where you are, who you're with, you will get into some sort of trouble with a large knife. Just because justifying it is basically impossible to a police officer unless they're very understanding or they do it themselves. Other than that, it's just going to be a bloody nightmare. A small knife, you'll see this has got a little backup kit on it, but it is small. You're still going to do all the tasks that you need it to do. Yes, you're not going to split massive logs. Yes, you're not going to cut down trees with it, but why would I want to do that? Seriously, why would I want to cut down a tree with a knife? It's silly. Small knife, you can make great little kits on these as backup kits, or for kits just to use every day. You don't need to leave it there as a backup kit. That is backup, my neck knife, backup knife. That does still fit on my belt with these two paracord straps. This is my winter knife with a sheath I made. Again, you see, small knife. I've done everything with this again. This one I've done a fire steel holder on it. Another good tool to take out with you is a multi-tool. Again, you're not going to be splitting logs and tinder and all that kindling, but it's a blade at the end of the day. It's something you're going to be able to justify more than a fixed blade. Regardless of it locking, you can actually justify this if you've got justifiable means. So yeah, a locking knife or something like that, a folding locking knife, is a great tool for the outdoors. Again, you're not going to be battening stuff. You don't need to do that. I suggest anyone that goes out should carry a backup kit. A backup kit can also be called a possibles pouch. It goes on the back of my belt, just behind my knife. It can also be called many other things. I've heard them being called survival kits and all this. It's literally a backup kit, all it is. A fire steel and striker. This striker has a whistle on it. I found it invaluable. If I've taken my knife off and I put it in my pack just before I'm going away, but I want to quickly do a brew, most of my cookers are started off with a fire steel. A small blade, again, it's been invaluable on the meat. Just to give you an example, I skinned rabbits with it, or gutted the rabbits with it. It's just there when I hadn't got my bigger knife, or I don't want to use my bigger knife, especially if my bigger knife's been used as food prep. A torch, I've got sewing kit, a little fire lighting, kit, a wet fire tab and a tampon. I've got small first aid, band-aids, antiseptic wipes. I've got DC4 in here, and I've got duct tape. Duct tape, for those of you that come on my meets, will know that it is very invaluable. Great little resource, especially when you're making bows and arrows. The birds are going ballistic around me. So back up on the thing of backup kits, I suggest at least you have some sort of blade, a fire steel, and a last ditch means of making fire, and a piece of fat wood, maya wood, pine resin wood, whatever you want to call it, will get you a fire going, no matter what weather, as long as you split wood fit enough for the sparks to catch this. And also kindling needs to be relatively dry. Silver birch branches are fantastic for that, but that is a get you out of jail free card once you know how to use it, and best way to learn is to do it. So other sorts of backup kits, you see this little backup kit I've made. I've got a few of these little kits. You've got paracord, whistle, saws mainly used for striking the fire steel. Got a little pry bar. It's actually, the little V in there is great for making shavings on bark. Tampon in the capsule, a little mini light, and obviously the fire steel. In here we got a large drum liner, or I think it's about 40 litre, I mean it'll cover me easily, and a large plastic sheet, fantastic for a tarp. So you've got a makeshift sleeping bag or poncho and a tarp. It's definitely going to get you out of jail. It's going to get you out of so many situations, and people can slate it off as much as you like. It's better than nothing, and that's the whole idea of a backup kit. But it's only going to work, guys, if one, you're going to carry it, and two, you know how to use it. You know, it goes without saying. This is a bigger version. This has got everything in it. It's been called survival kits and all that. Literally a backup kit. I put it together from many different survival kits and bits and bobs I had that was definitely going to make a difference. You've got everything in there, and I will do a video on it. So if you're going to stay out overnight, you're going to need a head torch, especially if you're just starting out, but I do suggest everyone carries it, even if they don't use it. You've got it there, so if you need to get out of the woods, you can get out there fast with a torch. And I've got a small little backup torch there as well, always on my belt. It's a fantastic bit of kit. Again, if you're going to carry head torches, you're going to need batteries for them. I've got a rechargeable battery on this, which is going to last a hell of a lot longer. Lasts about the same as 2 sets of batteries. Again, if you're going to start out, it's good to have some sort of surefire lighters. Again, they're good, but I never rely on them. These are normally, or this one is what I normally use. I cut cord, I singe it to stop it from fraying. That's about as far as I get with that. A fire lighting kit. Carry what you want in it. Seriously, it doesn't, you don't have to listen to everyone else. I've got a tiny little mini Bic lighter in there and in a tube. Never had to use it. I know it works because I've demonstrated it. And I don't really carry this kit. This actually fits on my teaching rucksack because it's MOLLE compatible. It's got everything in here: Maya wood, tinder card, green heat, cotton waxy balls, and some more tinder card, wet fire tabs, and I've got all sorts in there. It's more for display purposes, but you can get yourself a little pouch, a cheap pouch, don't matter which one, stick it on your belt and you've got a fire lighting kit. You can put your Possibles kit in this, your backup kit, whatever you want to call it, it can all fit in this, and I do suggest you get it. If you're going to carry sharp tools, you're definitely going to need some way of sharpening them. Again, I said I've got a DC4. You can also get great little combination sharpeners. This one happens to fit in itself. It has a groove there for fish hooks if you choose, a flat section for the tips of your blades. It's got a guard, so if you're not careful when sharpening, it's going to at least stop it a little bit. It tells you what they are. It's fine and coarse, fits in itself. It's very, very handy. I carry a ceramic rod and a strop, a board I made myself. It's literally a bit of leather backed on. I've got 2 bits and a bit of Julie's Rouge or sharpening paste. It's so simple to use and make. So we pretty much covered most of the basics without covering a ground mat. I do suggest you get something to sit on when you're out. A sit mat could be so small. I cut up a bit of roll mat, tape it together, it's perfect. You don't really need to go mad. Now, a saw is going to be invaluable if you're allowed to have a fire, or if you want to build shelters and stuff like that. It is invaluable. A great little saw this is, basically bomb proof. You'll see I have replaced the blade. Blades that come on these are black. I had to replace it, I blunt them. I have had it for a huge amount of years. You can also get cheap from £3 to £10. These things are still going for ridiculous money, and you can still get pruning saws that are a lot better, in my opinion. You can get axes as extra tools, you can get bow saws, you can get all sorts. I would suggest you get yourself some sort of crook knife, spoon knife, whatever you want to call it. You'll find it invaluable, and it's great fun to use, making your own cups, plates, bowls, just endless things you can make with it. This is an all-in-one sort of multi-tool. It has a planing edge and a scraping edge, and then you can get right in and gouge out huge amounts of wood with a lovely handle on it. Again, thank you very much, Ben Orford. I've got so many of these little carving knives and great tools. Could not recommend him anymore. Far better than the bloody Moras that you can get on the market. Get yourself a bag for it all to go in. It doesn't have to be any sort of, you can have whatever bag you want. In fact, I find some sort of shoulder bag to have your basic kit in is far better than a rucksack, because you'll allow air to circulate on your back. These are the basics. So that was just a quick lowdown of some basic kit for you to take out. To carry it, You'll hear so many different ways of how people will tell you to carry all these things. It might be in your area you can't wear a knife on your side. I found a handy little thing you can get is these little keepers. Maxpedition, there are other brands out there now. In fact, there's a police brand because they use it for their handcuff keys. You can use them. I made sure my knife had this little loop on the sheath that can be dangled. You can get this thing off your belt far quicker than undoing your belt and sliding it off. I've also put, I should have actually asked when I had it made, got this bit of paracord on there as a loop. Do the same thing, but at the same time they can both be put on my belt. Always carry your first aid kit on your belt and keep it with you at all times. That's one thing I will always suggest. Your backup kit, it's been made to keep on your person. Find your favourite way of keeping it on your person, and you'll keep it on your person at all times then, and it'll always be there. My backup torch, again, always on my belt. During the day, it's still on my belt. There's a reason. There's cave systems, there's huts, there's everything around in the woods that I go to. When I get in there, I want to have some means of light to illuminate the area for me to see. And if I've always got that right where I can get to it, I'll always go to this first and then find my head torch after. As well as carrying on my keys this little kit which has this little mini light. I've shown this kit before. It's not changed. I tell you one thing I do carry, always got tissues, hand sanitizer, maybe a lip balm, maybe some chewing gum. Always got that in one pocket, and I found I've lost some of the other bits out of my pockets, and I actually always carry cordage in my pocket. Those of you on my last meet, again, I did go for a hell of a lot of cordage. We made bows. I made quite a few bows. I've snapped a few, and you know, you cut the right lengths for that, and always have some cordage you can cut up. That's one thing, and never be afraid of cutting it up because of that just in case scenario. If you want to cut your cord, cut your cord. You can always get some more at a later date if you need bigger lengths. Other than that, carry a means of communication with the outside world, and in the area always check that you can get signal. Very important, especially for us in the UK. We can have ambulances, police, fire brigade there within 25 minutes, depending on where you are, and you need that means of communication if you don't know what you're doing. And don't ever be afraid to call them if you do think you need them. Better to be safe than sorry. So, my brew's done. Maybe if you're going to have a pot, you might want to carry a spare cup. I actually come out so fast this morning, I forgot mine. That's just while we're on the subject of that. Don't think you have to carry coffee, tea, hot chocolate. Carry what you like. I've seen people carry OXO cubes to make drinks, beef stock. There's so much stuff out there that people like that they just don't bring out because they don't think it's bushcrafty. Same with food. You don't have to bring out boil in the bag and freeze dried and all this stuff. Take the food out you're going to eat because if you don't, you're not going to eat it, which means you're not going to get the nutrients and energy that you need from the food while you're doing all these activities. Again, from the meat, people will know it's exerting so much energy when you're walking, running, stalking. We were doing all sorts, and you know, the food we took we really did need, as well as water. So I think that's enough talking. I will see everyone on a new video. One last thing, all you gorge rats out there, thank you very, very much again for the Gorge Rats badge. I think I've got a place I want to put it, but we shall wait and see. Thanks again, guys. Take care.